So, hello everyone. Welcome to our to our weekly InStats Basketball Webinar. I'm excited to present our today's guest, who is Himar Ojeda, the sports director for Alba Berlin. Hello, Himar. How are you doing today?
Hello, Nikita. I'm doing well, thank you.
Imar, we really appreciate that you have accepted the opportunity to speak with us, yeah, to share your experience. I would like to present, I would like to share a little bit the biography, yeah, the experience of Imar, because Imar is has a really wide experience worldwide. He studied as a head coach assistant for Gran Canaria. Then he was a sports director and GM for Gran Canaria. Then he moved to Estudiantes, also a Spanish club. And then he was invited to be a head of international scouting for Atlanta Hawks NBA team. And after the NBA, Imar again appeared on European radars. Now he's managing, he's handling sports section of Alba Berlin EuroLeague team. Yeah, and the topic of today's conversation that we're going to discuss with Imar is the role of the sports director in the club. Yeah, I will start our conversation with some, like general questions. How you personally see the role of the sports director in the club, especially in Europe? Yeah, because we know that there is no such position in the US. So, how do you personally see this role? What is your main responsibilities? Especially in case of scouting, yeah, recruiting players, following players, etc., etc.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I think that the most important thing, one of the key aspects or task in the sport director job is as a general thing to define the concept or the philosophy, the sport philosophy or the basket philosophy in this case of a club. Okay, I think this is something that many times whenever people think in the sport director, they just picture the guy that signed the players and the coaches. But I think that again, everything start by defining a policy for the club to implement all the decisions that will come later. Okay, so in our case, for example, we define it that we, let's say, summarize our policy in one sentence, that is we want to compete at the maximum level, but developing players at the same time. Okay, so we are consequent with that, and a lot of decisions come after that sentence.
Yeah, it's easy to know because like I think you have the youngest roster in the EuroLeague. Yeah, like you have a lot of really talented national players plus international players. Yeah, and you have a good mixture. And by the way, yeah, like the team is coached by the legendary coach. Yeah, Aito Reneses Garcia. Yeah, and I believe that there is this is the best, yeah, like coach in Europe in players development, yeah, especially in young players. So I think like the coach, yeah, signing of a coach is also one of your responsibilities, yeah, like, and
Yeah, right.
you did a great job, yeah, in terms of implementing club's philosophy, yeah, in coaching. Great. Yeah. So
So we have, yes, we have the youngest team and the oldest coach.
yeah, the youngest team and the oldest. No, we wouldn't say the oldest coach. We would say the most experienced one. Yeah, the most experienced one. Yeah, but it's true. Okay, and so you also mentioned, yeah, that yeah, one of your responsibilities is signing players. Yeah, and when it comes to signing of players, like let's talk a little bit about timing. Like, when do you usually start following a player? Yeah, when do you usually like start um, like looking at the player, so you're interested in, so you see that that from a point of view of philosophy of a club, from a point of view of philosophy of a coach, like how he sees his basketball, what he wants to see on the court, physical conditions, etc., etc. So is it for you any, like, time limits? Like, do you usually start to follow a player a year, 2 years before signing him, or a month before? How?
Yeah. Well, I don't really have a, let's say, a deadline or something like that established, to recruit players. But it's true that what happened is, like, I feel more comfortable by taking decisions that this is recruiting, players, because players are. I always says that the big companies, the companies that had a big budget and they wanna sign their, let's say, executive, so the
Hmm.
ones that they are going to get the most money and take the most important decisions of the company, they pass a long process, right? A lot of interviews and a lot of things like that. And this is what I always say with the players. The players are the best pay employees in our companies.
Hmm.
They are the most important actors in the organization, and so I think we should be able to do a similar process. And then we need to do the job, the previous job, and then I like to come close to that process. So if I can meet a guy personally, that is something I would try to do. At least speak with him, before signing a player.
Hmm.
But again, there's not a deadline, but I feel comfortable when as I said, when I know the player for certain time. That doesn't mean only sign players that I know for long, but the majority of the players that I sign, I have been following following them, it depends, but 1, 2, in some cases even 3 years before I can sign it. There's different
Hmm.
circumstances. I don't know. Peyton Siva, for example, is one
Hmm.
of our active players. I follow him. I like him since he was in college. And whenever he finished, I had no chance to sign him because he stayed in the NBA. And then whenever he jumped to Europe, I was not working as a sport director, so I have no club for sign him. But once I get the job in Alba Berlin, then he was one of the
Yeah. So
main.
in general, you have understanding of the market. Yeah, you have knowledge. Of course, yeah, you have a wide knowledge of players from different countries, different leagues abroad or in Europe. Yeah, and uh, you have a feeling that you like this player, and when the moment comes, you will try to sign him. Yeah. So and talking about like players that you will have a possibility, yeah, to sign him when his contract expires. Yeah, do you have any kind of KPIs? I mean, like, what is like, as we know, yeah, like very generally, yeah, so we have 5 positions on the court. We have point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. Yeah. And do you have any some kind of KPIs, yeah, for each position? Like, and the additional question here will be, like, what is your approach in building a team? So because we see that in the modern basketball, yeah, like there are a lot of in the EuroLeague, there are a lot of teams that build a team around the point guard and power forward. Yeah. In the meantime, these two guys should ideally cover multiple positions. Yeah. Like, for example, we have an example of CSK Moscow where Will Clyburn can cover from the first. to the fourth position. Yeah, he's basically power forward. Yeah, but sometimes we see him playing as a shooting guard. Some other times we see him playing as a point guard or as a power forward, etc., etc. Yeah. So what is your KPIs for players' positions, and what is your approach in building a team? Like around what positions do you usually try to build a team?
Well, it's you mentioned something that is, I would say, it will lead us into have a whole complete different webinar about the positions in basketball, because I think it's a good debate now. We think, and I think a lot of people now, is a tendency also in the NBA and in the European, in the modern basketball, that we think a little bit that positions are changing a little bit. As you mentioned, Clyburn, I think the first guy that really shake a little bit all the situation with the impact that he had, it was Kevin Durant, with this kind of possibilities to play from inside to outside all the positions. I think now the basketball is a little bit more flexible in that. We have always been a little bit like that. Or I try to be like that whenever I build the teams. I'm not really, let's say, strict in the conditions of normally a shooting guard. Okay, has to shoot the ball well, but playing as a two, normally everyone wants that he also will be able to handle the ball, to dribble the ball, to play pick and roll, or to penetrate dribbling. And I'm not really put that something over certain other capacities that the player has. And I put an example, Marcus Eriksson, that's one of the shooting guard that we have.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a great shooter, but he's not the best playing pick and roll, okay? Because he's kind of tall, and he's in between these 2-3 position, but he's a great shooting guard. And for me, the most important thing is if the coaches are able to really handle the situation with that, okay? Because I have been lucky, because I have been working with a lot of coaches, Pedro Martinez, Vidorreta, with Salva Maldonado, building teams, for Aito, of course, building team for these good coaches. And it's not the same to build a team for one that build for another, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is one of the first things that I consider regarding the players. But it's true that there's a common path in the players that I recruit. No matter which one is the coach that I have, is, let's say, a common path. So for me, these KPIs probably will be guys that shoot the ball well. I think that fits with all the coaches. Players that really are able to read the game. Okay, so sometimes I think I sacrifice if a player is very talented or really a scoring machine, but he's not able to really play, in a system that is more about the concept that the individual capacities. Okay, so I would say that's another. And another very, very important for me is the character. Okay, so I put a lot of attention in the character to see if the guy can be a fit. I have also passed on players, or let's say go for players that have a little lower profile sometimes than somebody else, because of the characters. Okay, so I really think that pay off during the whole season, despite we lose maybe a little bit of talent, quality there.
Yeah, and if it's not a secret, like what characteristics you pay most attention, you pay careful attention, yeah, in terms of character, like.
Well, I mean, I don't go with a pre-concept or something like that. I try to have feelings, and this is a little bit hard to tell for me, because I think that the job, it has to be, let's say, professional, and it's not that it's not professional, but a more, let's say, strict in terms of measurements that you take to take your decisions. But I have to say that still I have feelings. I follow by gut sometimes, to see, to interpret how a guy it is, because you don't get to know a guy by watching video or met him or talk him in the phone. I mean,
Yeah.
ideally you need to spend time with him. So what I do here is try to trust the feelings by my experience, but also trust the people. There's a group of people that I really trust, and I try to get information from these people. If
Hmm.
I know the coaches and I know the teammates, or I know people that have worked with the guy, I like to talk to them and to interpret, what kind of character it is. But basically, I would say that guys that really are able to sacrifice for the group, and guys that are, um, let's say, thankful to have the opportunity to be in our situation, okay, in our program. Okay,
Hmm.
so somebody come to you thinking that this is not their place. This is bad, no? So it's also not only the characters, but the momentum of their careers. So sometimes there's good players, but sometimes they're in a status in their career that coming to our program, for example, is like a step back, or it's not enough, or maybe
Hmm.
it's too much, and you need to pay attention to that too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the detailed answer.
Mhm.
Yeah. And finally, yeah. What is your approach in statistics and videos? Like, could you please share with us your screen and show
Yeah.
how do you watch players? Like, how do you use Instat for following? Yeah, um,
Mhm.
for checking players that are available on the market.
Yeah.
And by the way, yeah, like you mentioned an interesting idea that's like this summer, there won't be a summer league, yeah, and the NBA will still continue, yeah, in the midsummer, that was informed recently, yeah, and this is a great opportunity for European clubs, yeah, because usually, like when the season is over in Europe, it's almost over in the NBA as well, yeah, and then like most talented players, the best players from Europe go to the NBA. Nowadays, like as uh, almost all seasons in the Europe, yeah, were postponed or cancelled, yeah, you're able yet to recruit and scout players right now, yeah, because it's a good situation, yeah, and now there are a lot of good players in the market, and you don't have a fear that they will go to the NBA because like the NBA is not finished yet,
Uh,
yeah.
well, no, that's. I mean, we live in a time that is. We experience a time that is unique. There's a lot of uncertainties. That's true, and we need to handle in the best way possible. And I think we need to try to take the best out of this situation. Try to stay positive. Try to work hard. I think we need to. Actually will be more united. All the estimates, the leagues, the players associations, the agents, the teams, because
Hmm.
I think we all need to support each other, because we're in a risk that maybe some organizations cannot survive. And I think it's a good responsibility for everyone to try to make that, avoid that, and try to make that everyone can continue surviving, because this is for the good of all estimates in basketball, no? And
Hmm.
this opportunity is good, because many times you don't have the chance to see NBA. I mean, it will depend a little bit. The good things about the summer leagues is like you see a lot of players that are already in Europe,
Hmm.
and then you get to know them, everyone in one place, and this is very useful. Watching the strictly the NBA rosters, it's a little bit, let's say, less useful for depends which range, because there's too many NBA players that we cannot have access at all. Okay, so it's a mix of things, and it's going to be an interesting and very interesting and curious summer. But coming
Yeah.
back to your first thing, of course, the scouting players is a main job for the sport director. And let me, before I explain, let me say that I start when I started in Gran Canaria, and I was working with the video as an assistant coach. I was working with the VHS. Okay, so that was a long time ago,
Yeah.
and trying to do the cuts and looking for things. It was a nightmare. I cannot even think. So how we did the job, it was hours and hours trying to go, rewind, forward. It was crazy, and now it is unbelievable. A tool like InStat, for example, it changed completely the life, and not only for the coaches, um, but for a sport director. That this is my experience, because the situation is right now, uh, you we receive offers from agents, players worldwide. Okay, so in the past you focus on certain leagues like the Russia, BTV, Turkey, ACB, obviously Eurocup, EuroLeague, Belgium, Italy, Germany. But now you need to pay attention to every league. So we signed last year a guy from Japan. Okay, and there's
Mhm.
good players now in Japan or in Korea or things like that. Okay, so now you need to pay attention. So the wide is, the range is super wide, and it's super complicated to really do the job. You receive a lot of emails with a lot of names, and every people think that the guys are worth it to take a look. And if you just write down and then try to go to get a video, in the past, to order a video somehow, to get a tape and doing it, uh, it was impossible. Now that my life changed completely with InStats, for example, because um, now whenever I receive, can you see my
Yeah,
desktop?
yeah, we can see it.
So whenever I receive an email, I have a conversation with the agent, and he throw a couple names or receive an email, whatever. Apart from the what I do, that is following players that I know. Whenever I receive an email like that, I immediately get here. I put as an example one of our players, Landry Noko, but I can type here the player I want, and I can immediately have what we see here, right? So it's like, uh, um, let's say, a very good um, first impression of the player. And for me, this is again, is life changing. You see some stats there. The regular up here. You also see this chart that for me is very useful. Okay, so there's a lot of tools. I don't use all of them, but the good thing, the coaches do more. But for me, the first impression is to get these stats, and then this chart. Okay, the field goals, or if I click on the pick and rolls, that is something very important now in the modern basketball. Okay, so, and here I have a clear view in 1 second, that certain things that call my attention. Okay, if he's really good doing certain things, or he's not really doing some other things. Of course, I can click of every number, even up here, and just see the video. Okay, I can filter things, so I filter depend of the player. In this case, I said like Landry Noko. Okay, so my first analysis, I can, if he's a big guy, I go with the pick and rolls, and I go also with the field goals, how he finished close to the basket. Okay, I'm not really interested in the jump shot or something like that at the beginning. So I check, I click, the place, that I really want to check of him, and then I have a quick short video, about the player. and I have a first impression. And with that, I'm able to decide if the guy is, let's say, worth it, interesting, to dig in more. Okay, obviously you cannot do that. We cannot do that with all the players, but with now with this advanced technology, we are able to at least, and this is something that I like to do, is have a first impression of a player, and then a lot of them, I say like, well, okay, it's not worth it to keep doing it because the guy is not a good fit for us. Okay, and then I pass. But it's not that I pass on the name without even check the guy. That this is something that happened before we get this possibility. Okay, if I decide after the short clip that I create here, because again, if I want to see all the field goals made and miss, so I can watch the clip really really fast. You see the guy here in the summer league, it's here, Landry Noko, and then you have an immediate, really quick view of the guy. Okay, then and you can see all the clips or repeats or whatever. That is simple. That is, I think everyone get that. So I can do that really quick, and then if I think that the guy is worth it, then I dig a little bit more. I always, apart from these first clips that you can do in offense, and obviously I do in offense and I do in defense as well. What I do is watch games. Okay, so I decide, you have here all the list of games, as you can see with the stats. That is something very good, because if it's a game, me personally, I like to see games where they play a lot of minutes, or because if you play a few minutes for whatever reason, for me it's not worth it, so you waste your time. Despite you can select here what you want, but I do, in like this, I select a game and then I put the full match. Okay, you have during the season, if I have time, let's say from October until February or something like that, I like to see the full match, because I can, I can see all the things that happen in the game. I'm not in a hurry, so I enjoy watching the whole game. If it's in the period like starting from this April, that I need to focus and really analyze the players for sign, I many times I do only the game time that cuts, the times that are not game time, or the players' actions or certain things like that. Okay, if I put the full match here, as I mentioned, you go immediately. And if I'm at the office or at home, or I'm going to be, in a good place with connection, I just watch the game here. Okay, if not, let me check this out. If not, I download, the game, and I have it here, and I usually do that a lot. And I'm watching the games in the planes, because we travel a lot, and then I do that. So this is something I would say that is very, very useful, very useful. And again, as I said, it changed completely the way we work, because in the past you need to pass on guys. You just go to see the stats on the web, and then you decide, I like this guy or I don't like, I can do more or not,
Yeah,
and
if you're
now
lucky, somebody will send you the video. Yeah.
and now you you can tell us more probably, but now something that I just realized, is like InStat gets an agreement with the NAC sport, and we have been using NAC for a long time, for years. We're really happy with the tool, and now that is I'm excited because now whenever I download a game now like that, I download a game, I immediately have all the actions as well, tag it, and I can put it in the way I want. Not only the everything that is already tagged in the InStats platform, but I can put, the coaches can put immediately if it's corns up or different things. So now I'm very excited because it's going to be really a good step forward.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the way I do the first thing, to analyze the guys with the video. Then I try to get the information, as I mentioned before, talking with people and try to get. And ideally, another step is try to see the guy live. Okay, so that's the reason that what we said at the very beginning. I like to follow the guys for years, because then I have the chance to see the guy on video. I have the possibility to see all these percentage actions and stats, but also I like to see the guy live, maybe in summer league, maybe in other tournaments. So
Yeah. Thank you for the detailed explanation on your way, how you use it, Instant Scout. So you also mentioned, that you receive a lot of emails from agents, and you check all the offers, all players they offer, to sign. But could you uh, could you tell us a little bit more? How do you usually, if you're interested in a player that agent offers you, how do you usually run talks with the agent or maybe with the club? Yeah, so there is an interesting moment, for example, of a buyout. Like, for example, if a big club has a player which is who's on a loan, yeah, or in any other club in abroad or in Europe, and how do you usually negotiate such situations,
yeah,
buyouts, and how do you usually negotiate with agents?
yeah. Well, let's say that normally that happened more to us or to me in my career. That happened more in the other direction. Okay, so I have I'm in the part that teams come to me to try to sign one of our players. But lately, since I'm in Alba, that is a different level organization and club, I have been in that situation. Okay, so we took certain players that were under contract in other clubs, like Marius Grigonis,
Mm-hmm.
Martin Eriksson, for example. And I think that what is happening now, it's like the agents normally have done all the previous job. Okay, so whenever they prepare the contracts and then they negotiate with the clubs, they put certain times and certain, let's say, buyouts that are already established in the contract. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so and then you just many times the agent is the one who is in the middle of the conversation with both clubs. Okay, because he's the one that have all the information, and he's the one that is handling between the two clubs. Okay, so normally if there's any situation where I feel comfortable that that the situation is good, this case, for example, with Marius Grigonis, I have a very good relationship with GM in Tenerife, Aniano, and then
Yeah.
obviously we talked, and at the beginning I told him, hey, listen, we're considering Marius, and we know the situation, the badge out,
Yeah.
and it was good. And some others is not like that. And it happened to us also with Salgiris. Whenever Marius left to Salgiris, it was through the agent, everything. But it's, I would say, normally it's the person in between, so the agent, the one who handled the situation. You normally approach him with certain time, and he is the one who tells you since the beginning he has an option, he can leave,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the money. and sometimes you negotiate because you say, I cannot pay that money, or there's a lot of different topics there.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Okay. By the way, I mentioned that I noted, yeah, that you have a special interest in Canarian players. I mean, like all the players. Marius Grigonis from Tenerife, yeah. Then Marcus Eriksson from Gran Canaria, yeah, his previous club. Um, so yeah.
That prove what I said. It's like um, and it's not a secret. I try to explain to all the agents that that I met, in order whenever they met for the first time, and we talk, and I say, like, listen, I'm going to be transparent in the way I work, okay? And what I mean is that proof that whenever I have, let's say, access, to people around, and I can get more information, then I feel more comfortable. Okay, so in this case, the players that are in Gran Canaria or in Tenerife, so are, let's say, in an environment that I really know, so I can really transfer if he's going to be a fit in my organization, because I know exactly how are those organizations, and I know the people around, and I can talk to them. So I think it's a question of confidence in the end.
Yeah, I agree. So thank you for the answer. And I have a last question. I think we covered a lot of different topics from a professional point of view. I mean, from those professional responsibilities you're in charge of. But like we live in a modern in a modern world where social media plays a lot of I don't know, importance. Yeah, and my question will be, do you discuss with players, or do you I don't know, have any let's say uh, conditions in the agreement that a player could be penalized for his public talks, or different sharing of his personal opinions in social media, which goes against the policy of a club. Like, do you have some special, like, options in the agreement with the player that he can speak, yeah, publicly or not, whatever, in social media? And the other question will be, if yes, uh, in your experience in Alba Berlin, if there were any cases when your player said something, uh, I don't know, bad, yeah, and was punished or penalized for it, and you should fix it somehow.
Well, this is I would say, very interesting topic, because I think the world is leading to a time where this is growing. Okay, the social media, and as a platform for people to express their opinions. Okay, and we don't realize, but this is completely new. Everyone has now a platform where he can share his opinions, okay, or her opinions. Okay, so and in the past it wasn't like that, because the opinions were written in the newspapers, magazines, or in the books, and only the people that had access to write in these three platforms has the option of TV, so but now everyone from their house can do it, no matter if he's a professional sport or not, a sportman or not. Okay, so I think it's something that society need to adapt and need to handle. We have been doing it for years, and now is a, let's say, it's a topic in the sports. We have, as an organ, so I see a different situations since the beginning of my career, but since the beginning, it was written in all the contracts in Spain, in of course in the United States, and here also in Germany, that your let's say your opinions, need to be respectful. Okay, so I mean, you cannot really. I think should be a common sense that you cannot really express publicly opinions that should be just discussed internally. Okay, so against the organization or against certain things. I think this is an important topic, because I think this is a matter of education. So the first step is that you look for the right forum to address the situations. If you have a problem with the coach, I think you should talk with the coach, and if not, you need to talk with the sport director. If not, you need to talk with the CEO in our case. But this is not about, let's say, forbidding people to express their opinions. Okay, so I think one thing is find the right forums, and the other is express opinion. Okay, so we now have a situation as well that the people express their opinion about some other topics. Okay, and I have to say that I'm very proud of our organization, and especially our CEO, that is the one who lead us in all aspects, because he always says that we are part of the society as an organization, and being part of the society, we cannot be just a neutral kind of organization that is trying to navigate in certain topics, not to position itself, because that will be maybe harm, your whatever ticketing or something like that. Okay, so for example, we as an organization, they were here in Germany one day, like a strike for climate change, and the club allowed all employees to not come into work and encourage them to go to the demonstrations. Okay, and they will receive the money for that day. Okay, they're not to this kind of. So we were already as a voluntary things in a demonstration that happened last year here in Berlin, regarding the human rights and really a kind of a global demonstrations for certain topics. And our CEO Marco Valdi was pretty clear. He says, like, we take positions, as an organization, and you need to live with the consequences, and some consequences could be that some people say, hey, you shouldn't do that. But this is our responsibility as a human beings and as an organization. So we are, despite we give to the players, not despite, because it's a different thing. We give to the players a kind of a book at the beginning of the season, trying to give them certain tips. How is the press in Berlin? How are the media? And if they need something, they can contact our media guys for help or whatever. Okay, so just trying to help. But we respect the individual's opinions. Okay, and most of the case, we encourage them to feel free to stand, with their opinions. If the right forum to express their opinions is their social media accounts, we do it like that. As an example, there was a video made by the Players Association like a couple days ago, and Peyton Siva was part of the video. And from our social media, we share that, so it was nothing that we took part, but we consider against racism. Okay, so we consider it was a good thing, and then we share it. So I think we respect that. For the second question, in the other hand, I had 3 years ago a situation that it was the opposite. It was a player, let's say, complaining publicly, in media, in social media, and in the newspaper and media with journalists about his role in the team, or minutes, or centers, really a specific topic. And what I did is I approached him, and I had a conversation with him, and I expressed my opinion to him, and I told him that I think that if he has certain questions like that, that he should address that in the right forum, and the right forum is directly with the coach or with the sport director, because we cannot realize of these things because of the social media. Okay, so I think you need to tell us, because we're involved before you do that. But he said that he think it was the right thing to do, and he will keep it for the future or whatever. And the conversation ended up there. I said, like, okay, it's fine, it's only my opinion, and I think you should do it this way, and that's it. And I can put another example, and that is linked with what I said about the character of the players. We had a situation with one player that posted something in social media, let's say with bad timing, okay? Because after game that we lose, and everyone was, so there's certain times that you should better take care about what you say, even in your opinions. And this is something that the coaches not very well, because sometimes they need to breathe a little bit before telling things to the players, and the players need to do the same with the coaches or with the teammates or with anyone else. And in this case, it was the rest of the team, who after watch the post in the social media of a player, sit with him and talk about the situation, and they make him understand that as a question of respect for the group and for them, they didn't saw that appropriate in that time, because it was kind of disrespectful for the rest of the group. And they encourage him to do it in a different way, if the next time. And the guy recognized that he made a mistake. So the rest of the team already solved, let's say, this, or addressed this situation. So different approaches.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for so detailed answer. I really appreciate it. We have a question here from our follower. His name is Dmitry Materansky, and he's asking to tell us more about Bundesliga final tournament. How's getting ready?
Yeah, well, it's we are almost, so the team is leaving tomorrow, so in 2 days the tournament start. And has been a lot of work these days, especially for the BBL. The people in there, that has to do a lot of things, new things. The whole hygienic protocol, that is how we call here, it's very, very detailed, and very, very well prepared, very professional. So we have handled 4 weeks with a group of 22 people that are the only ones that can get in the gym to practice. They can only see each other, so everyone else cannot access, so a lot of different things. So I'm pretty confident that the whole hygienic concept, if everyone respect, everyone is individually responsible not to do something that is not allowed, it will be very safe for everyone involved, the players, the coaches, the staff, everyone there. So I'm really confident about that. And the format, the pure basketball format, nobody knows how it's going to end up. Okay, so I try to prepare everyone mentally, the players, the coaches, saying that everyone has been in a situation like that, or in a similar situation. The Europeans, because they have been part of the national teams in the youth, our young players, or the veterans in the seniors, and they have all experienced Eurobasket, Olympic Games, or World Championship. That is a concentration in a hotel playing a lot of games. Or the even the Americans with the March Madness in the NCAA or tournaments like that. So in order to be ready to play every 2 days, one game, and try to stay focused, healthy. So let's see how it goes. But I think it's a very, very good news that the basketball is coming back, and I think it's going to be for the good of basketball.
Yeah, hopefully. And by the way, do you have a lot of injuries when the lockdown was off? Yeah, and you were able to start practicing. Do you have a lot of injuries? Because like I think there were a lot of concerns from a part of EuroLeague players, yeah, not to resume the season. First of all, because of high possibility to be injured, yeah, to be injured hard. And what about?
Sorry, I really take that as a as a, let's say, as a legit argument. Okay, so the most legit argument, so I think that some others, I'm a little bit critical here, because some people were talking about the, let's say, the risk of getting this virus, and we are not jeopardizing the health of everyone involved. We have a coach that is 73 years old, so we are, let's say, he's in a risk group, so we're really concerned about all of this. But as a global thing, I think this is an argument that is so, because everyone is coming back to work. So the people in the supermarkets, not even the people in the medical staff, that is even worse. But the people in the supermarkets have been working since day one everywhere. Okay, so they were risking to get the virus, since the day one, for everyone else, for the society. So our responsibility is come back to work if authorities says that is safe for everyone. And I think this is what the German government says. Okay, this is not one team. This is not the league. This is the government of Germany saying, like, is secure, safe for you guys to come back to work. And this is, I think, what we need to do. The aspect about the injuries, this is a very important topic, and I follow that. I think this is legit. And what we did is try to sacrifice time by practicing 5-on-5 and getting the team ready by doing it individually. Okay, so we were the first practices, everyone was in a different shape. So we try to monitorize everyone evolution and try to do extra job with them, or more individualized job with each one. And despite we start in the second week to start doing 3-on-3, 4-on-4, progressive 5-on-5, we do it in a short time. There were players that were taken out of the practice to do a specific job. So we really need to try to take care. And another measurement that we did is, like, we decide that part of the group that we should decide that at the beginning of the protocol, 1 month ago, how will be the group, because this is the group that has to go to the tournament. And for example, I take myself out of the group in order to integrate more players. So then we have, even the young guys, 15 players ready, practicing these whole weeks to have more rotation and ready to go to the tournament, in order to be able to rotate players to take care about their health. So,
Um, okay, thank you so much for the answer. We have a question as well from a chat from our follower. Do you use just InStat, or you use some other analyst software in your club?
No, I mean, we use the NAC Sport. That is a software that
For editing videos?
Editing videos, exactly. This is a software to editing videos. But the whole, let's say, part of the video analysis plus the stats, and also the advanced stats, because you can also let's say get some ideas about different topics, and with the stats that we have in InStats is what we use. This is the main tool that we use.
Okay, great. Um, I think this is everything. I just wanted to express how thankful am I personally to you, Imar, for sharing your time with us, because it's really busy time for you right now, as in 2 days you have games. And thank you so much for the effort, yeah, um, for your time. We appreciate all the followers who watched the webinar. See you next Thursday. Soon we will um, say who's going to be our new guest and our new topic. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Be safe.